ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. So today we are on Al Haluf in the German 45 VK 45.03. It's a Tier 7 heavy tank, and basically it's like the Tiger 2 with a little bit less armor, a little bit less alpha per hit. Um, Super good friend of mine gave this to me about a year and a half ago. Click boom, super guy, super guy. And in the post game stats, you'll hear me talk about it, so I'm not going to go over it again. But yeah, real good friend of mine got me this tank, and I love it to death. I don't have a ton of matches in it. I think this is like my 17th or 18th match. It's just I got so many damn tanks. It's like, oh, which one do you use? Which one do you use? I mean, I literally have every tank in the game except for artillery, because I sold every one of my artilleries except for the premium artilleries, which there's two of them, a tier 5 and a tier 3, the leaf blower, and the other one starts with an S. Oh, shoot, I'm drawing a blank. Anyway, so I've got like two artillery. And a couple of the Clan War reward tanks I don't have. But anyway, so you get so many damn tanks. It's like, which one do you want to play when you got such a good selection? Now, if I had 3 tanks, it'd be a different story. I'd probably have thousands of matches in this. But anyways, it's a good tank. I love what they did when they buffed all the German 88s, because this has an 88 on it, where instead of doing or having a lower penetrating round, they bumped it up where your standard is 203, and I think the premium's 230 something. 237, and standard is 203. Used to be a lot less. It was like 190 something or 180 something for your standard, and your premium just got you up over, like, I think it was 212. So a lot of people rightfully complained about it, and they finally did something about it. Now, a big thing, I'm going to pause it right now. So this AMX M4 45 is coming out, and he is basically their second biggest heavy, besides what they have over there, KV4. Yeah, KV4. So whenever you get the opportunity, and you'll see it a couple times in this match that I do, if you can knock the enemy track off, let's do a scenario here. Let's say I'm in a tank that is a tier 5 that can easily see this tank. Obviously, there's tier 8s in this, but if that were, let's say, top dog, and I know I can't pen him because look at the angle he's on at that front. Let's say I got a gun that only has 120 pen. I know I can't pen him. Don't think, oh, well, I'm just going to haul keister and get out of here. You can still do your team a huge favor. Knock the shit out of his track. Knock that track off and keep it off. Even if you're not doing damage physically, because you're only knocking his track off, you're still getting the damage from your teammates doing the damage to him from you knocking that track off. And I mean, I've done it time and time again to mosses where I'm in a tier 8. I know I can't penetrate that moss, but I will piss him off by just keeping that track ripped off, and he will get hit by artillery and all the other tanks that can pen him, or they come around and they shoot him in the ass. And all I'll do is pop out, pop around off into his track, keep his track off, and just keep laughing my ass off every time he goes to take a shot at me, and he misses me or can't hit me, and I just leisurely pop out, take another round off at him, and knock his track off again, and he just gets decimated. And I've had it happen to me, and it pisses me off. So I know what it's like. But yeah, so if you're ever in that situation where you're in a tank that you can't penetrate it because of the angle they're at or they're hauled down, but if you can get that track off, you're doing your team a huge favor. So don't ever think, oh, I'm only in a tier 5, I can't do nothing, because you can. Don't just YOLO out there and get yourself killed, because you'll end up, you may only do 200 damage, but you might get a 11 or 1200 win or experience on that, and a super good, maybe a 3000 win 8, just by knocking somebody's track off over and over and keeping them tracked. So, keep your eyes open to being able to track team, the enemy team, and you'll see me do it on this and a YAG 88 here in a minute at YOLO's. Not that I couldn't pen them, but I also was doing damage and keeping them tracked for my team. So he pops out, I take his track off. He's got a 90 millimeter, so he's got a better load time than me. That one I put a little bit high, but he's still sitting there tracked, and somebody else took his other track off, and I just hit his track and knocked his track off again. And you'll see me just kind of peek out here just enough to get a shot, and I hit him again. And so this guy, second biggest heavy on the enemy team, is down to 414 hit points because of me keeping his track destroyed, and he just got pummeled. Now you see him backing off. He's like, fuck this. I ain't getting my butt ripped up no more. And you'll see this IS-2 goes to pull across. I don't know if you knew I was not setting there, but put one right into him. I don't think I knocked, I'm not sure if I knocked his track off. I don't think I did. No, I don't think I did. But you'll see a YAG-88 YOLO right in front of me here in a minute. And I'll talk about it in the post-game stats. Here he comes. Now, if he would have faced me right there, I'd have been screwed. But watch this. So that IS-2 is trying to get a shot off at me, so I'm just kind of yanking out real quick and putting him into the YAG-88, but I'm aiming right for the track. So he just shoots at me, and I'll take his track right back off, do damage to him, and this guy can't do shit. He can't do a damn thing. And if he were facing me directly, there I hit his track, knock it off again, and finish him off. Now I switch over to premium rounds because IS-2 is getting to where I can only get shots off at his turret. So I know that 203 penetrating rounds probably not going to go through an IS-2 turret. I keep it on standard round just to give it a try, and I just completely miss. So here in a minute, I think one of these here in a minute, I believe I hit it. That one just completely missed. 0.31 accuracy, and at that range, I should be hitting them, and I was kind of surprised I wasn't. So I had about enough of that. He put 2 rounds into me, one for 445 damage and one for 374. So he got one hell of a good roll on that first round that hit me. So I'm down to 581 hit points. Basically, 2 of his rounds knocked me down to half my health, and I had just enough of that. So I decided to move up here. He doesn't know I moved forward. Now, that's where I decide, okay, we're going to premium rounds. I'm done playing with this guy. The unfortunate thing is now the KV-4 has had enough of my little antics, and he says, screw this, he just wants me dead. So he pulls out here. He's giving me a side, which is nice for me, but unfortunately, and I aimed for his track because I knew I was going to die, hoping I could keep him kind of stuck there. But unfortunately, well, you can see I hit him right here is where I hit him, underneath the track. What I should have aimed for was that. I wanted definite damage, and that's why I aimed there. What I should have done is probably just taken off his drive wheel, one of his drive wheels there, and he would have been stuck there, indefinitely until, hopefully he was dead. But I wanted the damage over just tracking him, which it really depends on, where your teammates are positioned. This IS-2 was back here. As long as he would have been able to pen him, which that commander's hatch up there, it does hang up there pretty high, but let me tell you, that thing is tougher than what you think. It is not easy to pen that. Even with a 203 standard round, I probably wouldn't have gone through that. Now, my premium round more than likely would have went through that, but when he's giving you that whole, side of about the size of a boat, side there, you might as well take advantage of that and do damage with that. But so I ended up getting taken out. Got 2,466 damage, blocked 1 round with 240. Didn't get any credit for, tracking anybody here, because I basically tracked him and killed him myself. But it was a good match. The 4503 is definitely a good tank. You really got to watch your positioning. And the mistake I really made is pushing forward like this. I just got sick of the IS-2, tuning me up, which I was very surprised. I know the IS-2 has got like an 11-second load time, 10.98 I think it is, and the dispersion as bad as is. With me sitting on the corner of that hill, you could see, I don't know if I'm going to be able to position it, he was putting rounds right up through the top of my turret right there. So I just got my butt, handed to me by getting a little bit overzealous and just wanting that IS-2 dead, and kind of screwed myself. But still did the most damage with, tier 8s on our team. So I was pretty happy with that, and I got a really good win 8 and experience on that. So anyways, if you want to hold on for a minute, I'll have some post-game stats for you. Alrighty, so here's the results of that match. That was a Master Badge Class 2, a Master Gunner, Sharpshooter, and a Fire for Effect. And that shows you the importance of knocking the tracks off of your enemy vehicles. Uh, YAG 88, AMX M445, especially YAG 88. If he would have had his front facing me, this has got a really good penetrating gun. It's an 88, but it's got 203 standard, 237 premium. HE is 44. But still, YAG 88 facing you frontally. I probably would have been able to pen his lower plate. The dispersion on this gun isn't god awful. It is 0.31. Actually, that's pretty good. But if, let's say, when that YAG 88 YOLO'd up in there like he did, and let's say he got his front facing me and his lower plate would have been covered where I couldn't have shot at his lower plate, forget it. I'm not going through him with 237 pen. Just ain't going to happen. Maybe RNG would have been nice to me, since I prayed to him last night like I do every night. And I might have been able to go through him a couple times, but his rate of fire is actually faster than mine, and he would have tore me up and spit me out. But when he YOLO'd, he came in and he faced at the tanks to the right of me, which left his track vulnerable. So I popped his track off and just kept putting round after round through his drive wheel, which kept his track off, knocked 818 hit points off of him, and you can see I basically destroyed his track and finished him off. AMX M445 came out, and I did the same thing to him, knocked his track off, kept him there, did 936 damage, and you can see I destroyed his track and knocked out his driver, bounced one round from him, and originally lit him up. KV4, I think he had enough of it, and he came right out, and he messed up because he gave me a side. Now, there was a IS-2 that was directly in front of him, so obviously that does 390 average damage versus my, 240 average? I think it's 240 average damage on this gun. Yeah, so he's going to want to keep his front facing the enemy that's going to, whittle more off of him. But I was still able to put 2 through him. I forgot to take it back off premium rounds right after, because when that IS-2 was popping out, I was only getting shots at his turret, and I wanted to make sure I went through him. So I switched over to premium, and I just kind of left it on there. KV4 came out. I could have swapped it back over to standard with 203. We went right through his side, no problem. But we went through him twice for 468, and the IS-2 we put around through him for 244. So we got the most damage at 2,466 damage, got 1 kill and a base experience of 898, 15 shots, 12 hit, 11 pen, 2,466 damage. We got hit 5 times, 4 pen, 1 bounce for 240. Spotted 1, damaged 4, destroyed 1. Made, after they resupplied the ammo, repaired the vehicle, made 45,115 credits. So, yeah, this thing's, buddy of mine got me this back. Oh, boy. Tell me if I'm wrong, Click Boom, but I think it was probably about a year and a half, maybe about a year and a half ago. He knew I was kind of down and out, really bummed out. I woke up one morning, they thought I had a stroke, and you guys, if you've watched my videos, probably remember this, and I lost all use of my right hand from my elbow down. Literally, it was just like a hunk of meat laying, just hanging there. I couldn't move my fingers at all whatsoever. And basically, it was like that for close to 6 months. And at about 4.5, 5 months, it got to where I could start using it a little bit. I still had no strength in my fingers at all. Literally, I couldn't even press the mouse button to click the mouse button to fire. If I was trying, and you know me, I love tanks, so I was trying to play tanks. So basically, I would try and play artillery as much as possible, or a tank destroyer where I could move the whole tank destroyer by just using my mouse, because as you move it, your gun or whatever, kind of moves to the right, because I would have to use the mouse with both my right and left hand. I would have to use my left hand to help push the mouse left and right, and to actually help click the mouse button to fire. Well, he knew I was really bummed out. Got to the point where I wasn't even playing tanks because I was trying to play and it was just decimating my win rate. I mean, my stats were just going right in the toilet, and he could see I was really bummed out. So he went and bought me this VK 4503. Him and I've known each other for God, years, long time. We're real good friends. Stopped at his house a few times. His family are just awesome, awesome, super awesome people. Love him to death. He's a great friend. His son is awesome. His wife's awesome. I've gone through there a few times and stayed with him a couple times for a weekend, a couple times actually. And he's always got his door open for me, and just a great friend. Love him to death. His family are just awesome people. They would give you the shirt off their back. And but he bought me this tank, and it was kind of a bummer because here I wanted to play tank so bad, but I was still having problems with my hand. But so you can see I only have 17 matches in it. And I think probably about 14 of those matches were when my hand was all messed up. But I do love this tank. It is a really good tank. The armor's not the best in the world. I mean, it's all right. If I can find it. You got 180-80 on your hull and 180-80 on your turret. So 100 in the front, 80 in the sides, 80 in the rear. It's got some, it's a pretty heavy tank, 65 ton. Specific power to weight isn't the best, 10.65. I mean, that's all right. Top speed, forward 38, reverse is 12, or traverse is pretty good at almost 30. Concealment's not bad for a heavy tank at 7. View range is 408, and that's with no nods or any kind of, assistance there. Basically, the vents help it out a little bit. And I've got recon, situational awareness, the skills for, your crew and stuff. But I really like it. I love the looks of it. It's a badass looking tank. I mean, it reminds me a lot of the Tiger II, but a tier down from the Tiger II. This is a 7, not an 8. The gun is basically the same 88 that goes on any of your German tanks. It's got a decent rate of fire, really a pretty good dispersion. I didn't realize it was 0.31. I wonder if they buffed this because I thought it was 0.33 or 34. Oh, actually, I know what it is. It's 0.333, but with my crew and stuff, it brings it down to, and also having the gun lane drive and vents, that brings it down to 0.31. So, but anyways, I really like this tank. That win rate, just for your information, was 3,475 win 8. So it's got the capability of being a real good tank in the right hands. Not saying I'm some super player. I consider myself to be all right. There's a lot of people out there that are way better than me. But this is one of those tanks that, you want to angle it at about a 45. It's the only unfortunate thing is you got that big track lag right there where with opening basically. That's a big shoot me here spot. If they do hit you in that area right there, it will ammo rack you. So, if your front's facing them, 45, and you got a building there, usually can do pretty good. But if they get shots in that area, there's a good chance they can ammo rack you. And also, you can see that big turret ring right there. That's kind of a big weak spot for this tank because, they'll aim at, your turret and they end up hitting you right there, and it knocks your turret ring out, and then your turret moves slow as hell. But I love the tank. It is really good. It's it is nothing to be just taken lightly. Well, I mean, just for instance, this match we had several tier 8s. Scorpion G, I did almost twice as much damage as him. STM, well, that gun is the same gun that goes on the E75. I think it's like 490 average damage, and we did double the damage he did. Tiger 2 tier 8, we did over double the damage he did. So it definitely and it can make you some cash. I mean, look at that. 73,535 credits, still made 45,115, and I shot, I don't know, maybe with a total of 15 rounds. Out of those, I think I shot 3 premium rounds, maybe 4. So no, it's a real good tank. I really like it. It gets good, 1400 hit points. Um, so all in all, I mean, it's a decent tank. It's got. I wish they could bump the average damage per minute, or I mean the alpha per hit up a little bit to, from 240 to like at least 300. Now that would be real nice. Even 280, would be nice for a heavy tank hitting for 240. That's more like a medium tank's damage, alpha hit. I'm not asking for it to give me a, 183's, 1800 damage, but, it'd be nice if they could bump that, 280, 300, average per hit. Uh, but yeah, it's a great tank. The Commander's Hatch is not easy to hit. It's got good slopes, so it's hard for them. The only real weak spot on the turret, if they see it as this little chunk that sticks out right here, straight on, a lot of times they'll put rounds right through that there. Good angles and stuff. Like I said, you got to watch that side right there, that opening, because that'll get you ammo racked. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please click the like button down below and subscribe to the channel. You guys take it easy, be safe, and I will see you on the battlefield.